G'day everybody, coming at you live from Marina Chiapas in Mexico. As you can see, Chuffed is in slightly different condition to what you're currently seeing in our episodes, and that's because the episodes are around 2 months or so behind real time. But given the current world situation with COVID, we wanted to give you a bit of an update on what we're doing, what our plans are, and what's happening here in Mexico. So currently Mexico has around 17,000 confirmed cases. Most of those cases are in Mexico City and the Central Valley. There's some along the Caribbean coast as well. Luckily, the state we're in, which is Chiapas in the south, only has around 140 confirmed cases. However, things are starting to get more serious here in Mexico. Mexico City, there are reports that the hospitals are starting to overflow and become pretty inundated with sick people. And a lot of states have put in pretty serious lockdown measures. So some states do have police checking people who are going outside. In most areas, it's mandatory to wear a mask outside now, especially in public areas, going shopping and things like that. So yeah, there are restrictions in place here in Mexico. So we're living in a fairly small town here in Mexico called Puerto Madero. It's a little port town. The next biggest city of Tapachula has around 8 confirmed cases, and that's where we go to get like our supplies and things. So I'm going to include a little video after this to show you what it's currently like there, but they're taking it quite seriously. They're only letting one family member into the stores at a time. You have to wear masks, and they're really doing their best to keep people isolated. The small town, however, is basically running as normal currently. The people here live day by day. You know, the money they earn one day puts the food on the table the next day. So the fruit and vegetable stores, the little kind of taco stores, the little supermercados in town, they are still operating as normal. However, a lot of people are wearing masks, and it's definitely a lot quieter in town. People aren't socializing as much, and so people are doing their part here, which is good. We have heard rumours that because there are so few cases here, some local people are starting to think the virus might not be real. So we'll see what happens there. But all in all, we're staying very safe. Jim and I are taking a lot of precautions. We're very good at social distancing since we've lived on a boat for a long time now. So it's not a big worry for us.
No está permitido. Adultos mayores de 60 años o personas con discapacidad podrán ser acompañadas por una persona. Dentro de tienda, te pedimos mantener.
G'day everybody, I am at Home Depot. I just bought some things. Now I'm heading over to the Walmart to stock up on some groceries. But you might have heard, basically what that was saying is only one person's allowed in from each family. You have to have a face mask, and you can't be pregnant, over 70 or under 15. So they're getting pretty strict here. Although we're very, very lucky to only have 8 cases in the entire town that's been diagnosed. So yeah, people are taking it seriously, which is good. As you can see, I've got my mask on. I wore gloves in there and then took them off and threw them in the bin on the way out. Doing everything we can to stay safe and yeah, do our part to help stop the spread. This is the big Walmart shopping mall, and as you can see, it's very, very empty and very few shops are open. Most of them don't even have stock anymore on the shelves. So a big thing with COVID is it has really affected, obviously, everybody's travel plans, but cruising plans as well. Will and Lena are no longer with us. Will actually went to do a visa run with another boat that was heading to El Salvador, and about 5 days after he left, the borders all shut and he was no longer able to get back to Mexico. He then found a boat ride back to Mexico, but it was further north, and he is still currently stuck up by Puerto Vallarta trying to find a flight home. Lena also left at the beginning of all this. So currently it's just Jim and I. Will and Lena both are fine, and Will's been very happy sailing around on the boats and everything, which is good, but obviously that's thrown everybody's plans out quite a lot because it wasn't what we were expecting. We also have 2 other sailors who are currently staying in the hotel with us because they actually kind of did the opposite, where their boat's currently in El Salvador, but they had to do a visa run to get their visa renewed for the country. And the day after they came into Mexico, all the borders shut, and they've now been stuck here for quite some time, unable to go back to their boats. We also have an Australian boat here at the moment that's in the water, and there's basically a group of boats along the Pacific coast here of Central America that are planning to go all the way back home to Australia. So it'll be 2 months at sea. They've organised with some of the embassies that essentially when they get to Tahiti, they're going to be met by a boat to help provision them and, you know, drop off some fuel and some food for them, and that's it. So they're going straight shot to Australia. So things have really, really changed. So many boats are basically just waiting it out to see what happens. A lot of people are going back to the United States. So it's been very turbulent and, you know, lots of uncertainty for everybody. In terms of Jim and I's plans, our plan is to stay with Chuffed indefinitely for now. For right now, we feel really safe here. We know everybody in the town. The marina people really know us. The little hotel we stay in, the families, you know, our friends. So yeah, we feel really good about staying here right now. We are currently the only people in the hard in the marina, so that's been a little bit different. But we've been getting a lot of work done. So there's a few reasons we've decided not to go back to our countries. One is obviously Chuffed is here. Right now, Australia's situation is that I can go home. Jim cannot come with me though. If I go home, I'm in quarantine for 14 days. And then once out of quarantine, currently Australians are not allowed to leave the country without permission. And that's only given in special circumstances. So I don't want to risk going home right now to not be allowed back for some time. Jim's from an area of the United States where there are a lot of cases, so for him to go home is really not safe. Obviously, neither of us want to travel through a bunch of airports either, because Chuffed is our house and our home, and we don't have houses ourselves in our countries. We would both probably go and stay with our parents, who are obviously in an age group that we really wouldn't want to expose them to the virus either, having then traveled through all these international airports. So basically for right now, we think the safest and smartest thing for us to do is to be here, be with Chuffed, continue working on her. As you can see, we're making some really good progress. We're also doing heaps of animal work still, which is really awesome. Unfortunately, the spay campaign that was planned had to be delayed because we didn't want to have a gathering of so many people. Last time we had 50 animals and each of them had, you know, 1 to 2 owners, plus 4 vets, nurses, you know. It's a lot of people in a pretty small area, so we didn't want to do that. So we have postponed it for now, but with the help of Dr. Brenda, I've still been doing surgeries on dogs that were either worried are going to fall pregnant soon or that have had other problems. So for example, there's one little dog that has a sexually transmitted cancer, and we decided to rush her surgery and got that done. Poor little Nicholas, the marina dog, also had a little bit of a run-in with a porcupine and ended up with spines all the way down his throat, all over his face. So he had to have a little operation with Dr. Sheddy as well. Still loves me, thankfully. But yeah, so we're keeping very, very busy with animals, and we're looking forward to eventually having the spay campaign once things have calmed down a little bit. Basically, we've decided to kind of embrace and accept what's happening. Obviously, our cruising plans were to head north sooner than this. However, you know, we kind of have taken a bit of a slower approach now. We've been doing half days. We were pulling really, really long days, and now we're doing basically 6-hour days instead of kind of the 10-hour days we were pulling, which has been really, really nice for both of us. We're both feeling much less tired. And in some ways it feels like a lot of pressure is off us because we were really racing to get this done on an imaginary timeline that we'd set for ourselves. So for right now, while we don't know if ports are opening, while marinas are shut, countries are shut, we've just decided the very best thing is to do as much work as we can on Chuffed, so she's absolutely the perfect boat when we put her back in the water. And in Chuffed's case especially, because she's aluminium, if we put her back in the water here, she's got a blade of anti-foul going on, which means that it essentially falls off with movement. So sitting in a marina is really not great for the paint. We've also done all of this work to get rid of the corrosion in the hull, much of which was probably caused by sitting in marinas with electricity running through them. So after putting all these beautiful fresh anodes on and having this beautiful smooth shiny aluminium hull that we've started painting, we really just don't want her sitting and rotting in a marina. She's far better off in the hard for now until we know we can start moving. We're also being very flexible with our plans for the future. Obviously the original plan was to head north. If things start opening up to the south and hurricane season is in the north, we may consider a little you know, rendezvous down south before we then head back north. Obviously though, nobody knows when things are going to be happening, and we don't really feel that there's any point in making all these grand plans right now. I've got friends on boats over in the islands right now, and they've been in complete lockdown for the last month. People aren't even allowed on shore without a note from a doctor or from the to say they're going to go get food and things like that. And so there really just isn't anywhere to go right now. So we've embraced the lockdown lifestyle. We've taken a step back from doing quite so much work. We're really trying to perfect everything and really do a good job on it since we have time. And as I said, we're still doing a bunch of animal work. And yeah, all in all, we feel really happy and safe here, and we're very happy to have each other here. And yeah, life's pretty good here in Mexico right now. We really, really appreciate everybody who's stuck with us through this journey, and we really, really appreciate the people who still support us with donations. As many of you know, you can become a patron for as little as $1 a month on our Chuffed Adventures Patron page. And with that, we've been doing weekly live updates on the hard too. So you get to see what we've been doing with the interior, top coats, what we've done with the hull. It's pretty cool, I think. Live animal updates, things like that. Get to see little Blanquito and how he's doing nowadays. Yeah, so it's very cool. And we really, really also hope that everybody's staying safe where they are and not going too crazy if you guys are in lockdown anywhere in the world. And we really want to encourage everybody as much as you can. You know, it sucks. Everybody's plans have been changed, and it's you know, it's something none of us are used to, but try and embrace it as much as you can, because it's really all we can do. And you know, we just want everyone to stay as happy as they can, and you know, try and stay chuffed basically. All right, thanks for listening, and I hope this has given you guys a bit of an update on what our plans are and what we're doing and what the situation is here in Mexico. And until next episode, I hope you all stay very chuffed. And we're not going to show you everything, but there's just a little taste of how she's looking. I'm wetty. I'm wetty. Okay. Anything I missed? So, on my list, I'm going to wait for these cars to go past too. Watch this guy take 15 minutes to back up.
Back up. They're building a pool.
I'll put that in the update that we're building a pool.